I never thought I'd be the guy sitting here, writing this out in a way that feels like some sad cautionary tale. But honestly, I'm still trying to process everything that happened. My name's Mike, and I was married to Lisa for about 5 years. We had a pretty decent life, nothing spectacular, but I thought we were solid. She was sharp-tongued, bitchy sometimes, but she also had her moments of being charming and sweet, at least on the surface. We met when I was in college, and I honestly thought she was the one until a few months ago. Everything started feeling off. It all began with little signs, missed calls she wouldn't explain, her phone always turned away when I entered a room, and her unusual behavior when she thought I wasn't paying attention. She started acting secretive, and I was starting to feel like I was losing her. I'd catch her quick glances at her phone when she thought I wasn't looking, or she'd make some excuse about it being work or a friend from her past. But I knew something was wrong. I could feel it in my gut. Then came the day of my sister's wedding. It was a big deal, family, friends, the whole 9 yards. I was excited, proud to see her marrying her longtime boyfriend, Daniel. That day, Lisa was supposed to be happy for her sister, right? Well, that's what I thought. But as the day went on, I started noticing things. The way she kept stealing glances at her phone, the way she got a little too close to Daniel's best man, Jason. They seemed familiar, not just friendly, but almost flirtatious. I shrugged it off at first, telling myself I was just paranoid, but deep down I felt a knot forming in my stomach. Then during the reception, I caught her texting. I saw her phone light up on the table and I couldn't help myself. I glanced over. The message was from Jason. It wasn't just a quick, polite congrats, either. It was flirty, suggestive even. I could see their words and I felt a cold rush through me. My wife was cheating on me, probably for a while, and she was doing it right in front of everyone, disguised as harmless fun. The worst part, I had no idea how long it had been happening, how many times. They'd exchanged those secret messages behind my back. I felt like my world was crashing down. I spent the rest of the night pretending I was fine, but inside I was raging. I kept looking at her, trying to find some sign, some denial to cling to. Instead, I saw her laugh with Jason, more than just friendly, and I knew. I knew I'd been blind, had been fooling myself. How could she lie so effortlessly? How could she betray me like that, especially at a time when I thought we were still a team? The wedding, the celebration of love, and she was out there screwing around with my best friend. It was a sick joke. That's when I realized I didn't just lose her. I lost the person I trusted most, and I started questioning everything about us, about my own judgment. The next morning, everything felt like a fog. I woke up with this gnawing ache in my chest, knowing what I saw the night before. I kept replaying the moment I looked at her phone, the way her words looked so casual, so intimate, like they didn't realize I was right there, watching. I couldn't believe she had been so brazen, so blatantly dishonest. But the worst part, I felt numb. I had spent years building this life with her, and now I was standing here, staring at this mess, realizing none of it was real. I decided to dig deeper. I needed to know what the hell was going on. I found her phone later that morning, hidden under her pillow. How obvious now, right? She had always kept it close, but I never imagined she'd be stupid enough to leave evidence right there. When I unlocked it, I saw the texts weren't just one-off flirtations. There were pages of messages, secret conversations about who was more attractive, about how much they wanted to see each other again, about which days they could meet up. It was sick. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. My wife, the woman I loved, was out there sharing everything, pretending she was a loyal wife when she was screwing my best friend. I was furious, but I also felt sick. It was like my brain was trying to process the betrayal, but kept hitting a wall of disbelief. I didn't know whether to cry, scream, or just bolt from the house and never look back. Instead, I sat there staring at her phone, trying to understand how she could do this. How could she lie so effortlessly? She had the nerve to tell me she was stressed, that she was busy with work, that she loved me, while she was out having sex with Jason, probably for months. I remembered how she used to accuse me of being distant or not paying enough attention. She was the one cheating, and she was hiding it behind layers of lies and bitchy arrogance. I knew I had to confront her, but I didn't want to do it that morning. I needed some space, some clarity. I took her phone, put it in my pocket, and went for a walk. The fresh air did little to clear my mind. All I could think about was the pain, the betrayal. I kept asking myself why, how she could do this, especially during my sister's wedding. That was supposed to be a day of celebration, and instead it turned into a nightmare. I was furious at her. How could she be so callous? How could she betray me, then lie about it? But even more than that, I felt stupid for not seeing it sooner. I was so caught up in the idea of us, of our life, that I ignored all the signs. When I finally went back home, I knew I couldn't just pretend nothing happened. I wanted answers, and I wanted to hear her lie her way out of it. She was already acting bitchy, trying to brush me off, saying I was overreacting, that I was paranoid. That's classic Lisa, always deflecting, always making herself the victim. She denied everything, of course, but I already had the proof. I laid her phone down on the table and I looked her straight in the eyes. That's when she started the bullshit, saying she was stressed, that it meant nothing, that Jason was just a friend. I didn't buy it. I saw the way she looked at him, the way she touched him during the wedding. She wasn't just talking to him. It was obvious they had something going on. The biggest shock. Her reaction wasn't even remorseful. It was bitchy, defensive, full of lies. She tried to twist everything, make me doubt my own instincts. "You're overreacting," she snapped. "You don't know what you're talking about. It's just sex, and it doesn't mean anything." "Yeah, right. Just sex with my best friend while she's pretending to be the perfect wife, the perfect sister-in-law." I could see right through her bullshit, but it still cut deep. I felt like I was losing my mind. How could she treat me like I was a fool? How could she lie so convincingly? And worst of all, how could I still love her after all this? That's what's messing me up the most, knowing that despite everything, I still want to believe she's capable of being honest, that maybe she'd come clean and we could fix this. But deep down, I knew the truth. I knew I'd probably be better off walking away. Still, the anger burned hot. I was furious at her, furious at Jason, furious at myself for missing all the signs. I had trusted her, and she'd thrown it all away for some cheap sex with my best friend. That betrayal changed everything, made me question every memory, every moment I thought was real. I kept asking myself if I ever really knew who she was. After that confrontation, everything felt like it was spinning out of control. I kept replaying her lies, her dismissiveness, her bitchy smirk when she tried to gaslight me into thinking I was overreacting. Honestly, I was so pissed I didn't even know what I wanted to do next. Part of me wanted to lose my shit, break her phone, scream at her until she admitted everything. Another part just wanted to crawl into a hole and disappear. But I knew I had to make a decision, fast. I started packing a bag that night, trying to think clearly. I didn't want to stay under the same roof anymore, not with her sneaking around, lying to my face while pretending to be a good wife. I was furious, but beneath that, there was this deep sadness I couldn't shake. I kept thinking about the good times, about how I thought she was the one, how I never saw this coming. It was like a punch to the gut every time I remembered her smile, her bitchy attitude, the way she used to call me simple. Now I saw how fake everything was. I decided I'd confront her one last time before I left. I wanted her to say it to my face, what she'd done, how long she'd been cheating, what she felt about it. I sat her down in the living room, my fists clenched, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked annoyed, like I was bothering her. Typical Lisa, always making everything about her. I asked, "Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Were you planning to keep this a secret forever?" Her response: a dismissive shrug, a bitchy smirk, and then she threw out some bullshit about how she was just bored, that Jason was just a distraction, that she didn't mean anything serious. Yeah, right, just some meaningless sex. I told her I knew about the texts, about the sex, about how she'd been lying to me all this time. Her reaction was textbook denial, then a burst of anger. "You don't understand, Mike," she snapped. "You're just paranoid. You're overreacting because I'm stressed and tired. Jason's just a friend and I'd never cheat on you. You're making a huge deal out of nothing." Her words sounded rehearsed, like she'd said this lie 100 times before. She looked at me with that bitchy, condescending stare, like I was the one in the wrong. That's when I realized she'd been playing me all along, that she'd been manipulating me with her lies. Deep inside, I felt a mix of heartbreak and rage. I was so sick of her bullshit, but I also couldn't help feeling like I'd lost a part of myself. I trusted her, loved her, and now I saw her for what she really was, a manipulative, selfish woman who'd rather cheat than be honest. I looked her dead in the eyes and told her I was done. I couldn't stay with someone who'd betray me like this, especially during my sister's wedding. That moment was a turning point. She tried to argue, tried to guilt-trip me into staying, but I didn't listen. I gathered my things and left that night, not even looking back. The next few days were the hardest. I kept waking up with that sick feeling in my stomach, wondering if I'd made the right choice. I felt humiliated, betrayed, and honestly pretty broken. I kept thinking about how I'd been so blind, how I'd trusted her to be honest, how she'd lied to me every single day. But I also knew I couldn't stay in that toxic mess. I decided I'd cut her out of my life completely. No more excuses, no more bullshit. I wanted to get away, to heal, and to make sense of what had happened. In the aftermath, I started seeing a therapist, trying to piece myself back together. It's a slow process. I learned a lot about myself, things I never really paid attention to before. I learned that I was too willing to overlook the signs, too eager to see the best in her even when she was clearly showing her true colors. I also realized I deserved someone who wouldn't cheat, who wouldn't treat me like a fool. The betrayal was a wake-up call. It hurt like hell, but I'm starting to accept that sometimes the people we love can turn out to be the biggest fakes. And no matter how much you want to believe in them, sometimes you just have to walk away. Living with the aftermath of all this has been a roller coaster. Some days I wake up angry, furious at her for the lies, the betrayal, the way she threw our years together in the trash. Other days I feel this crushing sadness, like I lost an entire part of myself, and I wonder if I'll ever trust anyone again. It's been a month since I left her, and honestly I get flashes of anger every time I think about her bitchy smirk when she denied everything. It's like she had this script prepared, ready to lie her way out of the truth. That realization made me even more pissed, like she's so used to manipulating people, she doesn't even see how transparent she is. I've been staying with a buddy for now, trying to get some distance and perspective. I can't even count how many times I've gone through the text she sent Jason, or how many times I replay that moment in my head when I finally saw her true face. It's like a nightmare I can't wake up from. But the one thing I know for sure is that I'm done. Done with her lies, her bitchy attitude, her manipulations. I keep asking myself what I could have done differently. But honestly, there's no point. People reveal who they really are eventually, and Lisa just revealed herself in the worst way possible. One thing I've learned from all this is that trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to repair. I thought. I knew her, thought she was my wife, my partner, the person I'd grow old with. Turns out I barely knew her at all. She was a master manipulator, and I was just too blind to see it. The most hurtful part isn't just that she cheated, it's that she lied so effortlessly, so convincingly, and then had the nerve to act like I was the crazy one for suspecting anything. It's like she was having this secret life behind my back, and I was just too naive to catch on. I've started seeing some women, but honestly it's hard to trust again. Every smile feels fake, every glance feels loaded with suspicion. I don't even know if I want another relationship right now or if I just need time to myself. But what I do know is that I won't ever forget what happened. It's a scar, sure, but it's also a lesson. Never ignore the signs, never excuse the bitchy attitude or dismiss the little things. They add up, and sometimes they save you from a world of heartbreak later on. I've told a few close friends about everything, and some of them say I should just move on. Find someone new. But I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I need to heal first, to really understand that it's okay to feel broken, that I don't have to rush into anything. Still, I have this nagging voice in my head, this little whisper that says, you deserve better. And I believe it. I know I'll eventually get past this, but man, it's going to take time. Right now, I just want to focus on rebuilding myself, piece by piece, and making sure I never let someone betray me like that again. It's been a few weeks since I finally cut ties with Lisa, and I won't lie. Some days are better than others. I've been trying to focus on myself, on healing, but the pain still lingers. Sometimes I catch myself starring off, remembering her bitchy smirk or thinking about that stupid night at the wedding. It's like a scar that refuses to fade completely. But what's been worse is realizing how much her lies affected me, how I started doubting everything, even my own judgment. I used to think I was pretty good at reading people, but now I feel like I missed all these warning signs. What's been strange, though, is how different I see things now. I look back at the relationship, and honestly, I see a lot of red flags I ignored. The little things, her bitchy attitude, her constant criticism, how she always made herself the victim when I questioned her. I thought I just wasn't good enough, but now I realize she was just never really committed. She was always looking for something better, someone more exciting, someone like Jason, apparently. And I'm mad at myself for not seeing it sooner. But at the same time, I understand that people show you who they are eventually, and I was just too blind to see the signs. I've been going to therapy trying to sort through the mess. It's helped, honestly. Talking about everything out loud makes it a little easier to process. My therapist told me that sometimes the most important thing is not about fixing the past but learning from it. That made me think, what did I learn? Well, for starters, not to ignore the little things, not to bury my head in the sand when something feels off, and definitely not to trust blindly. Lisa taught me that some people are just good at hiding their true selves, and you have to be more cautious about who you let into your life. Since I've been alone, I've also come to realize how much I lost myself trying to keep the peace. I was always trying to make her happy, always trying to be the good guy. But that only made her take me for granted. Now I understand that I deserve someone who respects me, who's honest, and who doesn't play games. I don't want to be with someone who lies to my face or cheats behind my back. That's not love, it's a trap. I've started thinking about what I want in the future, what kind of relationship I'd even want after all this. Honestly, it's hard to say. I'm not rushing into anything, and I'm not even sure I want to jump into another relationship right away. I need time to rebuild my trust, to get comfortable again, to figure out who I am outside of her. But I do know one thing, I'll never let myself be blind again. I'll listen to my gut, pay attention to the red flags, and never ever ignore the signs of betrayal. This whole experience has been a brutal wake-up call. I've never felt so broken, but I also know I'll heal someday. The key is to take small steps, to forgive myself for trusting the wrong person, and to remember that I'm better off without someone who treats me like an option. I've learned to value myself more, to set boundaries, and to walk away when someone shows they're not worth it. That's what I want others to take from this. Trust your instincts, and don't stay silent when someone betrays you. Because in the end, you're the only one who can protect your heart. Now, looking back, I realize that the biggest lesson I've learned is about boundaries and self-respect. Lisa's betrayal was a punch to the gut, but it also forced me to finally see my own worth. I spent so much time trying to keep her happy, trying to fix what was broken, but in the end, it was her choice to lie and cheat. No matter how much I loved her, I couldn't make her choose differently. That's a bitter pill to swallow, but it's the truth. People reveal who they really are eventually, and hers was a pretty, ugly picture. I've come to accept that some betrayals cut so deep that you can't fix them. You just have to accept what happened, learn from it, and move forward. That's what I'm doing now. I still get moments where I feel angry or sad, but I try not to let those feelings consume me. Instead, I focus on rebuilding my life, one day at a time. I've started to reconnect with friends, pick up hobbies I'd neglected, and remind myself that I'm still the same person I was before all this, strong, capable, and deserving of honesty and respect. The truth is, I don't think I'll ever fully forget what Lisa did, but I do believe I'll get to a point where it doesn't define me. It's a part of my story now, a painful chapter, but not the whole book. I want others reading this to know that betrayal hurts, but it doesn't have to crush you forever. You can heal, you can grow, and you can come out the other side stronger. Trust is fragile, and it takes a long time to rebuild once it's broken. But if you set boundaries, listen to your gut, and never settle for less than you deserve, you'll be okay. So here's what I tell myself every day. Never ignore those little red flags. Never let anyone treat you like an option, and always prioritize your own happiness and well-being. Because at the end of the day, the only person you can truly rely on is yourself. And if you keep that in mind, you'll find your way back from even the deepest betrayal, stronger and wiser than before.